Hello everyone and welcome to Bacon. So I have some unfortunate news to share with everybody, and that is I actually already had this episode recorded. In fact, not just recorded, but completely edited and ready to go. And when I went to save it as a movie file, as I have done so many times in the past, for whatever reason, it chose to save over the original video file versus what it normally does, which is make itself its own video file, which is a different format from the original video file, and therefore is usually never an issue to say name it the same thing. And usually I say Cinderfin and then the number. And again, it's never been an issue in the past, but for whatever freaking reason this time it decided to completely save over it. So unfortunately for this chapter, there are no spoilers for me. It stinks, but it's all gone. Let's get back into it again. So like I said, there's already been spoilers for me for this chapter for that reason. You really are a handful, but a delightful handful. Teehee, that's so cute. And it sucks because there was a lot of really cute stuff that happened in this particular chapter, and I'm just very sad because a lot of my reactions are just down the drain now. His words keep repeating in my head. I cannot stop hearing his voice and feeling his lips upon my hand. My face feels warm, and every time I think about his words, my heartbeat feels unsteady. I really have to stop thinking about that. Karma is karma, and he puts on that overly polite act with everyone. But then, I am pretty sure I have never seen him do something like that with another person. I'll just go downstairs and stop thinking about all of this. I need to tell Parfait and Delora what happened. Because of the time I'd returned to the Marchen yesterday, I never spoke to anyone about what happened. Maybe someone's downstairs. Someone usually is. I leave my room and make my way downstairs to the reception. It is quiet when I enter, but not as silent as I thought it would be. Karma is sitting at one of the tables speaking quietly with Parfait and Delora. His injured hand is sitting on the table, bandaged. I cannot help but stare at it, my heart plummeting. His injury is my fault. So you've yet to hear the entire story? No, I'm afraid I'm not quite privy to the information Waltz has. Is that correct? Waltz has been directly involved in this far longer than you have. What about Waltz? Princess, you're up early. They all turn to look at me as I stand at the table. Karma still looks tired and is not in his dress. He looks somber but still smiles at me. Lucette, how nice of you to join us. When did he start saying my name without my title? Lucette, you've run into a lot of different mishaps this week, haven't you? I thought you'd be stubbornly avoiding work. Instead, you go out of your way to get yourself into trouble. This involves me directly. How would I not be curious? You've also been irresponsible, sneaking out without any of us knowing. I have the freedom to do whatever I want to. I even wore a cloak to... Oh no, the cloak. I left it at the bar. I feel a nudge at my arm, and Karma is holding out my cloak with a tired smile. You went back to get this? When? Yesterday, when you were still in bed. You've been running yourself dry these last few days, Karma. It's nothing. Thank you. What's this? Our ice princess is thanking someone? Alright, so I'm more than happy to point this out again, but look at that freaking face that she's putting on, while at the same time what she has to say about this. Like, seriously, you're trying to teach her goodness, but you're gonna point out that she did something nice and actually kind of insult and bully her for it? Because yes, I do actually kind of consider this bullying, and it kind of reminds me of those situations when people, like, for example, this is just one example. Let's say that there was like a young lady who was being constantly told, why don't you wear a skirt? Why don't you wear more feminine things? Why do you always have to dress like a boy? You know, stuff that unfortunately I had to kind of grow up with as well. And then like the first time I ever wore a skirt, everyone made a big deal out of it. And it might not be necessarily the exact same thing, but I did get like made fun of and insulted, and it's like, you guys are constantly always insulting me and bullying me for liking to masculine, for not looking feminine enough when I was growing up. And the moment that I start wearing something a little more feminine, and I get bullied for that too, and it made me just not want to do it again. And it's the same thing for being social. It's the same thing for looking more masculine. There's so many situations that could work as examples here, and this is no different. What makes you think insulting her and having that nasty, smug little look is going to make her want to do more nice things? What makes you think that that's what's going to happen here? That she's going to learn, that she's just going to behave in a certain way that you want her to by pointing it out and bullying her for it and insulting her for it? Stop. Just stop. Why is that something so strange? Oh, come now, she's not so icy. Lucette is more fire than anything. She's filled with unbridled passion and confidence. Confidence that has gotten me nowhere so far. Don't look so dour, Lucette. You've become quite the accomplished woman. Carmer gestures towards me and I flush, unsure of what he is talking about. Then I notice Dolores' eyes on me too. Oh, Parfait, do you see that? What are they looking at? I reach down to grab my necklace and then pause. I cannot stop the gasp that leaves my lips. She's got part of a shoe! When did this happen? Princess, you didn't realize there was an extra piece to your necklace? Congratulations, Princess Lucette. You're a step closer to breaking your curse. I feel proud. I only ever felt this way around Mother. She did me a great favor yesterday. If not for Lucette, I might have suffocated beneath a pile of very excited women. Oh, Karma. Wait, helping Karma escape was a good deed? She was selfless. He's not even mentioning the injury he got protecting me. Parfait and Delora were both smiling, but the cheerful mood does not last long. What were you all talking about before I came down? About your kidnapping. Well, kidnappings. Both of them. It looks like we have a serious problem on our hands. What do you know about this? What does Waltz know that I don't? Princess, it's more about what everyone else knows that you don't. What everyone else knows? I feel anger begin to simmer inside of me. Even though he looks apologetic, he says it so casually. What are you all hiding from me? Ugh. Let's gather everyone later, shall we? I think Waltz might want to be here for this too. What does Waltz have to do with any of it? Be patient, Princess. You've already waited this long. What's another few hours? I have no choice but to agree when Parfait and Delora refuse to say any more, but I am not happy about it. I spend the rest of my time doing idle chores around the tavern. I do a lot of sweeping with Mr. Broom and mindlessly organize some of the bottles. I cannot believe everyone knows something about me that I don't. But now, I'll find out the entire story. Maybe we'll answer some of the questions I have. But why are they keeping these things about me a secret to begin with? Delora gathers everyone in the tavern to discuss the kidnappings. I decide to sit in between Waltz and Karma. So we have a story to tell. Story time, huh? I don't suppose this would be a romance, would it? How can you stand to make comments like that constantly? How can you stand to live a lie? I said this during the last recording, and I'm going to say it again. I don't like Rumpel. Karma dresses for their curse. Like, they have a logical reason for dressing up as a woman, but they actually, even though they prefer to be themselves in a masculine way, they have actually made it clear that he actually is fine with dressing like a woman. In fact, he even enjoys it to a certain degree because he enjoys being pretty and wearing pretty things and enjoying pretty things. And that's cool. There's actually plenty of men who are totally straight, who are not trans, who also enjoy dressing as women, and there's nothing wrong with that, and it doesn't mean that they're living some sort of a lie. Rumpel just needs to back off. I get it's all part of some joke or whatever, but it should already be done and over with. He's just... There so far has been nothing redeeming about Rumpel. It made me laugh so hard when I first came across Rumpel because he was so ridiculous, but he's not even ridiculous enough to kind of make up for this kind of phobia. Maybe phobia is the wrong word for it, but either way, he's just being a gigantic jerk. And there's nothing that makes me want to play his route. I don't want to get to know him. He's kind of gross. There you go. He's gross. The two glare at each other across the table, but Dolores silences them. Dolores starts with a story about the Great War, one that I've already heard so many times I can recite it myself. What does any of this have to do with me? Because of the fairy tales, witches like myself were punished for simply existing. Our leader, the Tenebrarum, was a kind witch that was overtaken by the grief that our people suffered. Another thing that was a part of the original recording, oh, I'm so sad. I'm so sad. I actually put in some animations, and I put in so much effort into that original recording. It just hit me that, like, some of the animations were me bullying Delora. Oh, I'm sad. She was driven so far into madness that she created the fairy tale curse to punish humans and make them suffer as the witches had. And when that wasn't enough, she committed the ultimate taboo. She killed a human. I tried to stop her, but by the time I thought to act, it was too late. Knowing that Delora and Parfait were involved in the Great War makes it seem more real. But wasn't the Tenebrarum bearer killed? How can the fairy tale curse continue to spread if she is dead? I believe that the Tenebrarum bearer sacrificed the last bit of her life to continue powering the Tenebrarum, all to ensure that the remaining witches could continue spreading the fairy tale curse. Is none of this ringing a bell for you? What are you talking about? She really did erase your memories. Erase? The witch who died, the Tenebrarum was your mother, Princess Lucette. What? For some reason, I turned to look at Karma, who is one of the only people who doesn't look away from me. I grew up outside of this kingdom, and even I knew of the terrible witch Hildur. You expect me to believe any of this? She wasn't a witch. I would remember that. Well, you would if you had memories of the war, and the years before that. Under Hildur's rule, the palace was a dark place. The king didn't have any real power until Hildur was defeated. That goes for the rest of us too. We were slaves to Hildur. Dolores' eyes flicker to Waltz. It's the truth. Waltz knows because he is also a witch. He experienced Hildur's command over the witches firsthand as well. Waltz is a witch? Sorry for keeping it a secret, Princess. It's not as if I can use much magic anymore anyway, not when I'm cursed. This is just another secret of many. It seems everyone is hiding something. Everyone was freed after Hildur's reign. Witches, fairies, and humans alike. The king was even able to marry Ophelia, the woman he always truly loved. So, it has always been Ophelia that he truly loved. Was that the reason I never felt any love from him? Because I was my mother's daughter? He gave up on me. No, dear, I don't think he gave up on me. Parfait does not have the right to say crap about what her life at the palace was like at all, or to decide for herself, no, your father didn't give up on you. It's already been established he hardcore neglected her and is in no way intending to make up for that. He just kind of wants them to just move on, not have to do anything to make up for it, and just thinks she just should get over it already. My voice is too loud in the reception area. I feel it crack beneath the pressure, and suddenly I want to cry. My mother told me so many times not to cry. The king gave up on me, but Mother didn't. Mother would tell me this was all a lie. She would tell me not to trust anyone. They must be lying. I turned to Karma. For some reason, I trust him more than I trust Delora or Parfait. Gee, I wonder why. Is this the truth? I was told the story of Hildur and her daughter Lucette. They said you were the picture of elegance, but that you shared your mother's icy nature. But I don't think that's true at all. If Hilda was ice, then you most certainly are a warm fire. If my mother was a witch, then what does that make me? You're a witch as well, whether or not you were taught to use magic. On your upcoming birthday, you will become the Cinderella bearer. Do you realize how ridiculous this all sounds? Me, a witch? The king never said anything. I have a question. So, okay, Delora was her doll for a year, kind of looking over her to kind of judge whether or not she should be the next bearer. They cursed her, and they tried to forcibly humble her. All this different stuff, right? And if it's been 4 years since her mother died, why wouldn't you come a little sooner than that? Like, I understand wanting to give her time to grieve, and she has that brainwashing from her mother, which Delora knows about. Why wait 4 years? Why not wait 1 or 2 years and give yourself an extra year on top of that to what you already had? And then I also brought this up in the recording that Delora also spent the entire year on her shelf as her doll, one of her best friends, like her absolute best friend, because she loved Delora the most and tended to tell her dolls about this, about everything. And just, I guess I'm just a little, I don't understand why you would cut it so close to the deadline, if that makes sense. And then I also don't understand why, again, I don't think the bullying and the insulting and the pushing around was the best way to go about this. I've made that very, very clear. But considering who you were to Lucette, you would think you'd go out of your way to try to be a friend to Lucette. Like, you cursed her, and then you explain why you cursed her and said that it was necessary. Apologize. Why wouldn't the two of you try to be her friend rather than put her through all of this? And I get it's, there's a good deal of this. It's just that they're kind of getting back at her mom through her, whether it's subconscious or not, which I think is the main reason why Parfait never does anything to help her out. But this is just asking for trouble at this point. Like, you're treating her terribly. You betrayed her trust. The one thing that she believed was that her dolls cannot betray her. Then a doll does, and then she's just left alone, Like, why wouldn't you want to try to get close to her in a way where she would be willing to talk with you about these things and to trust you with this information, to believe you when you say these things, rather than be a jerk? Anyone want to answer me that? And now I can't even ask him if this is the truth because I'm cursed. Why would you even curse me? We didn't want a repeat of the tragedy, Lucette, and I've already discussed all my thoughts on this particular part of the story. I sat on your shelves for almost a year, Princess. There was ice in your heart, and if you had inherited the Tenebrarum in that state, who knows what would have happened. Then why didn't you just tell me any of this? Flora and Parfait look at each other before dropping their gazes to the ground. If we had told you before, would you have even bothered to listen? The king must have tried to do the same thing, and look how that turned out. You assume, I mentioned this in the last recording, I'm going to mention it again. You assume the king must have tried, but it's already been established the king could not bother to give her the time of day, so he most likely didn't. He didn't even try just to have a normal conversation with her. Why is he going to try to do that? You shut out everyone who ever tried to tell you about Hilda's true nature. That is probably true. Even now I'm having trouble believing that they are telling me the truth. I feel like half the reason that she's not able to handle taking the truth is because no one here, except for Karma at this point, because it's his route, and Waltz technically, but no one has really gone out of their way, except for our route guy and a little bit Waltz, to make themselves trustworthy to her. They haven't done anything to give her reason to believe what they say. The whole world feels as if it is collapsing around me. I need to escape. I need to go out and be somewhere else, but why are the witches looking for me? You are the heir to the Tenebrarum. No doubt the evil witches want you on their side so they can continue wreaking havoc in Angie with the fairy tale curse. The men that were looking for Lucette were not witches, though. They were knights. Perhaps the witches and the knights are working together? This must be part of Alcaster's scheme to steal the throne. What are you talking about? The reason why Garl and I left the Order of Caldera was because the king did not believe us about Alcaster's coup. Or is it coup? How would he know the princess's identity, though? Anyone who isn't a fairy, a witch, or isn't cursed shouldn't be able to remember her. But now we know that it is not just the witches looking for the princess, but the knights of the Order of Caldera as well. They definitely have a description of her from someone. Lucette? Carl reaches out a hand to touch my shoulder, and I flinch back before standing up. I cannot speak about this now. I want to be alone. Let her go. She'll need a lot of time to think. I leave everyone sitting at the table as I try to process the whirling thoughts in my mind. Hildur, my mother, the only person I ever thought loved me was the Tenebrarum bearer, a witch, the first witch to kill a human, the witch that started the fairy tale curse. All this time I thought Mother was the only one who cared, but what if she never did? I stay in my room for a long time, trying to process everything I have been told. Okay guys, I am going to go ahead and stop here. Now, as I've been doing, what I actually tend to prefer is I like to go the entire chapter and then end the episode, but I've been noticing that that's actually been causing me to go 45 minutes to an hour, and the truth is I actually tend to prefer my episodes to be 10 to 15, maybe 25 minutes tops, and I have been getting a few people that have been saying that they do prefer the shorter version of things rather than the longer version. And if you prefer that, at least for Cinderella phenomenon, that you would prefer the episodes to be longer, I don't mind making them longer and doing the entire chapter. But again, I have been getting those kind of, not complaints, just people requesting that I go back to a shorter format because it's just easier on them as a whole. I do know quite a few of my friends like to watch these videos. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for your support. And they tend to kind of like to have the videos playing when they're at work to have something to help them get through the day. But also, they can't be too longer. They can't watch the entire thing. So it's also kind of in consideration of that. And if you guys, again, prefer that they be longer for Cinderella phenomenon, at least, I'm fine with that. If you have any suggestions or recommendations, feel free to let me know. You don't have to be a friend of mine to drop me a comment or to contact me on Instagram asking for different things. Like if you have, again, requests for video games, requests for links, if I'm doing something wrong, or if there's more of something you'd like to see me do more of, or etc. I had one person mention that they liked the way that I read the dialogue. So if you like the way that I read the dialogue, please let me know. Or if you'd rather I didn't read the dialogue, but I continued to give my thoughts on things, I'm totally willing to consider that as well. At any rate, I am Bacon, and if you like the video, feel free to like the video. If you like me, feel free to share, comment, subscribe, all that lovely stuff. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye!